What
We're
up?
still here.
Check.
Network issues.
Yes, that
Fun.
happened, I suppose.
It wouldn't be a cool Roblox stream if we didn't go down at least once, right? Those are always the
That was
best.
very good.
But we got codes out, right? This time we're
Yeah,
not fighting
it's
for
on-
codes.
it's on screen.
You got your MLG
So-
headphones?
That's the code for the day. We're going to be starting up in the next presentation soon, so we're just going to hang out here for a moment, and then that gets started.
So I brought something fun. I know my boy Wesley is
Okay.
watching the stream. So we had these really cool things made. And I just want to throw it out there. It's a Death Run pillow.
Death Run pillow.
It's a Death Run pillow.
FTW.
A pillow of death.
A pillow of death. Just rest your head on that.
Yeah.
Never wake up again.
Yeah.
That's the slogan.
There are a couple
for the
other
pillow.
cool ones. I'll bring them by before
Okay.
lunch. Maybe during our breaks,
Stick
we can
around.
show off a pillow.
Stick around for the demos, but also stick around for the pillows,
The pillows.
which is a thing that I never thought I would say, but here I am saying it.
But so we're wrapping
Okay.
up. RBX Adam is up next.
We're going to go into a quick standby, and then we're going to be back with more awesome demos. You're going to see what's coming down the pike for Roblox gameplay, physics, I believe, some graphic stuff. So this is going to get more exciting, and we'll be back soon with all that stuff.
All right, here at RDC 2015!
Room at Impact Hub in San Francisco. Looking forward to another awesome session. We've got really exciting stuff. If you guys on the kitchen side of the room want to settle back into your seats, I know it's super exciting. We want to hang out with our friends. We want to collaborate and communicate and talk and learn from one another. And oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love your game. And that's so great. I love your game. And now you're fans of one another and friends in real life. This is all super awesome stuff. We're going to have plenty of time for that at lunch today. That's going to be really fun. But before we get there, we have another amazing session. By the way, how awesome was Simon's session? Oh my gosh. So great, right? So great. He was like answering questions just on the fly. What an awesome dude. We're super lucky that he works with us at Roblox. We're super lucky that all of you are part of our community working with us to improve it for everyone. The next presentation is just as exciting. I am super blown away by this guy whose username I forgot to get. It says staff. RB Adam, this is Adam Miller. He's our VP of Client Engineering, and he is going to be taking us through the new updates on the client. Prepared to be blown away by Adam Miller.
Hey everybody, super awesome to be here. It's amazing just looking out
over this crowd. Super cool. So I am working on the client team. This is the team that makes kind of the core game engine. So the networking, the physics, the gameplay, the rendering, all the sort of core game technology that makes Roblox really fun and exciting and awesome. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you a little about today. So this is kind of the future. I'm going to call this near to midterm future. So this isn't even all of 2015. I don't want to get too far in the future. I want to talk about things that are really coming down the pipe, some of the big exciting things. Some of them you know about, and some of them might be a little bit of a surprise, a good surprise. So, all right, let's get started. So, first item, I know a lot of people have already know about this one. This is our smooth terrain system. So, terrain, this is like the way you build with the landscape, and this has been in Roblox for a few years. It's pretty cool, but we really wanted to take it to the next level, and we leapfrogged from our old version, which was blocky and kind of old school, way far into the future with this. We've made a version that is totally cutting edge and incredibly awesome. So I'm going to jump right into a little video of it and talk over this video. This is me building yesterday with our new terrain system. This is the new tools that Luke made. They're awesome. And okay, I'm going to get started. So this is 20 minutes of building compressed into 2 minutes. So you see it's going really fast. But what is amazing about this is it's so organic and natural. When you're building with this system, you just feel like, wow, I am sculpting a world that feels just alive and beautiful and emergent, and everything fits together. So we've got multiple materials. You can see over here, this is like the palette of the different materials you can work with. And then up here at the top, those are the tools. So we got about 6, 7 tools that help you create and mold and sculpt. And so there's different kinds of things like a grass. It's a really natural thing. It's like grass and dirt. It's very smooth, and it's this is like the landscape. And then you've got like bricks and wood blocks is kind of what I'm doing now. It's more that blocky feel. And then you've got rocks, which are jagged. And all this is like a natural emergent thing with these materials. And we've got the brushes, different sizes, so you can just go in and out and build. I'm building this kind of like cloud city something. Like it's just so easy, and it's so cool to make these beautiful things. And you can kind of have the rocks popping out of the grass. This is concrete and stone. And so you can make tunnels and holes and arches, and everything works with our dynamic lighting system. It's totally integrated. So when we have this, when we launch this, you'll be able to convert your existing places with one click, or you can create a new place and just sculpt it from scratch. And even the water is a bit new. It's based on our old water, but we've made it way more cool and awesome. It's kind of reflective and refractive and all this stuff. So you won't see it right now in studio because it kind of renders at the low setting. But in a second, I'm going to jump in as a character because I've built all I know how to build. All right. So this is my guy walking around. So I'll just talk through the tools a little bit. They're off the screen, but there's the adding, which is where you add on. You just sort of like say more of this. Growing makes things a little bit bigger. You can smooth stuff out if you want to have a real even part of your terrain. And you can erode and shrink and subtract if you want to like make holes and tunnels and kind of squeeze stuff down. So I think this is going to really make our games look better. And this is kind of our vision to make Roblox look and feel as awesome as possible, and to make it the rendering and the graphics really cutting edge and super cool. This is just our first version. It's going to be better. Things like grass and stuff are going to be like waving in the wind and all that kind of thing.
This is so cool and awesome. Quick question, how long did it take you to build this amazing, weird cloud city sculpture thing that your character is now walking around in?
Right, so that was 20 minutes of building, my first day. So I think it's really accessible. Like this is something everyone can build with. And we're kind of thinking this might be really a great way for a new Roblox builder in their first experience with Studio to just start experimenting and creating stuff. You can see the reflection on the water, so I think this is pretty cool. All right, smooth terrain. Okay, next up. Okay, I want to talk about physics for a minute. So Roblox, as Builderman mentioned earlier, it's always had this vision of being physically based. Everything can interact with the environment and be dynamic and stuff like that. So this has been built in since the beginning, and we've had things like explosions and blocks moving around and flying, but we've also had vehicles and contraptions and cool articulated systems that you can build. And I want to ask you guys a question. Who here has tried to build like a car or a vehicle or anything like that? Okay, if you had a great experience doing that, keep your hand up. Okay, so you are our most dedicated people. That's awesome. For everyone that put their hand down, we feel your pain because we don't think we're there yet. And you guys may remember a couple of years ago, we started building something that kind of culminated in this tricky truck demo. And this was our new physics system that was going to have these vehicles and contraptions and stuff work really awesome. And it was like 90% there, and it turned out that last 10% was we couldn't quite figure it out. So we didn't stop. We took a step back, and we learned a lot of things from that project. And we've started again with a new system that takes all that learning and is building it the right way from scratch. And that's what we have here. We've been working on this for a few months. We've kind of kept it a little bit quiet because we didn't want to promise anything that we didn't think we could deliver. This time, we are very sure that we've solved all the hard problems, and because of what we've learned before, this is going to succeed. So this is bringing together the vehicles and the collisions, and it's all going to work in a stable system. We think it's going to be really easy just to drop into your games, and for people that are building vehicles, it's going to make them work better. For people who want to build this stuff, it's going to be a whole new world. So let's let a couple videos demonstrate what I'm talking about. This is stuff we found just by searching for existing Roblox models. These are not things we custom built just to show off our engine. This is stuff that's right in our free catalog. So somebody built this little thing that swings around. I'm going to show you what it looks like with our current physics engine. This probably won't surprise too many people who've tried to build stuff like this. All right. Now we're about to see what it looks like with our new physics engine. All right. That is what you want to see. That makes you feel like, oh my goodness, I can really build something awesome. So, perfect example. Next little demo. This is a little walker. Current physics engine. Yeah. Oh, shoot, no, go back. Sorry.
Why are you all clapping for broken?
I'm glad you're clapping for the bad. Okay, so here we go for the new one. Now, this wasn't designed with a new, nobody's seen this work, so it's not going to be perfect, but I think you can see it's a lot more stable. It doesn't jitter, it doesn't fall over, it kind of walks. This is the type of thing you'll now be able to actually tune it and see it be cool. I have one more demo, but the video doesn't work on this computer, so I'm sorry, you'll just have to take my word for it. This is a bus running through this wall. It shows how the vehicles and the parts work together. It looks great. Okay. Okay. That's physics. And that's going to come by summer. So look for physics in the summer. And if I didn't say terrain, smooth terrain is going to be in the spring. Okay. Particles. So who here has put particles into their games? All right. That's a lot of people. Right now, you can only put in 4 particle systems. There's smoke, there's fire, there's sparkles, and there's force field. I don't even really count force field because how often do you use force field? Let everybody raise their hand. People really want particles. We've been thinking about this a long time, and we want to really do it right because this is a huge thing that we think is going to be in every game. So we've done this, and we have created it with a great interface in Studio, and this is going to be shipping in weeks. So I hope everyone is ready for this. All right, what does it look like? Okay, this is me building my first particle system. So I'm inserting a little particle emitter under a part, and it just starts out with a little default. Probably not going to use this in your game. But first thing we change, rate. How fast do the particles come out? We want more of them. Speed is a range, so you can say go between 3 and 7. It's mean some are going faster, some are going slower. Lifetime, how long do they stay on your screen? I'm going to make the range a little different there. And you can kind of see some of them are disappearing in the middle, some go to the end. So these are all really customizable things in a way that's very accessible for you as a game designer. Okay, the color. Let's have them fade to white. Now here's where things get interesting. Like the size, just setting a size isn't enough. You really want a range. You want to go from small to big, but even that's not, it's not quite enough. We need some more control points. This is a full spline editor for size and transparency. And we can add more points, just little click, boom, point. It's so easy to use. You can edit this stuff. It totally works in real time. I don't even know how that's possible somehow. Tech magic. What's this red band here? That's controlling the variations. You can say not only is this a control point, but like there's a range of randomness there. So really, like the power to do this is very nice. So I think this is just me messing around. Stuff is going to be super cool. One little demo. This is programmer art. So this was Max, our engineer who built this. He's messing around. He's not even using a new texture. He's just using like the default fire and smoke textures and put together this flamethrower. So the creativity that you people are going to bring to this, we know we are going to see the most amazing things. Super excited for particles. All right. So those are all the big things. I'm going to talk about one little thing. So we're always trying to push the envelope on these amazing new projects, these big physics things and rendering things that really transform Roblox. But at the same time, we can't forget, we're always working on the polish. We want to go back and fix these bugs and make this experience smoother and make sure that there's no little gotchas and annoyances that are bringing us down. And I want to send this message to all of you guys here. Always pepper us with this stuff. Don't ever stop. Don't ever like say, oh, this bug's been bumming me out for years, and like, they never fix it. Forget it, I don't care. Let me show you how this happens, right? So, this was a post 3 weeks ago from Merely, who's here in our audience. He says, this tool equip bug, it makes me want to quit games. I don't want him to quit games. I want him to love games. So there's this weird PowerPoint thing. I can't do animated GIFs. I swear this GIF. I'll show you what it really looks like. So this is a bug. It's been in Roblox for years. Builderman wants to take credit for it. I'll give him that. What happens, you try and equip a tool, and it comes into the workspace in the place where it was last there. So instead of being right in your hand, which is what you want, it teleports in over here and then like falls over to your hand. It just looks terrible. And sometimes, if it's too slow, it actually falls out of the world and like goes through the floor, and then you're like, oh, where's my sword? This isn't good. So we have a fix for this. Okay, here's a demo. This is running with 1 second of artificial lag. So this would be like the worst case scenario. If we weren't running with our fix, that sword would be flying all over the world. And yet you can see, it gets equipped, boom, right in the hand. So this was nailed, 100%. We're going to be releasing this in a few weeks. So this is just an example. We are fixing this stuff. Keep sending us this stuff. Don't quit. Yeah. Okay, that's it for the big presentation. Let's do some questions. I know you guys have some questions. Who is first?
Q&A time all the way. Starting off on the far end over here. Has yet to ask a question. Don't forget to start with your username.
Hi, I'm Gus Manak. We don't even really have a question. We just wanted to point out that we've worked with Unity for 6 months, and they don't even have terrain features like this. You can't even make a tunnel or a cave or anything like that. Zolarketh here has worked with their particle system extensively. You guys have done something that they don't even have built into their engine. So
Wow.
we just wanted to point out how great this is.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Boom. All right, running back over here. Running all over here.
Hi, I'm Ma Bucket, and I noticed when you were showing the particle thing that there was a place to put in a texture ID. Does that mean that you can make the particle take the shape of any picture you want?
Absolutely, yes. That's totally key to the design. You can upload any texture just like you would expect and make that into your particle.
By the way, how amazing is it that this guy is just catching some little detail in the thing? That's how smart the people are in this room. He's like, that one little thing in the corner of the menu, does that mean X, Y, Z? You guys are smart. Give it up for yourselves. That's amazing. I think we had a question over here. Okay.
Hey, it's Runite again. I just got a quick question. When in the particles, there is one I've been wanting for a while now, and that's like a glow effect.
Yeah.
Is it?
So I believe there is a lighting parameter. I didn't add that to the particle I created, but you can create like a light that'll affect the dynamic lighting around it. So
Well,
yes.
not necessarily dynamic lighting. I'm thinking like more of a plasma effect. Where it
plasma
comes
effect,
off,
yes.
It comes off the brick and it kind of glows a bit, but I can add dynamic lighting for that part. But, you know.
I think you will find that you can create that effect with our new system. And if you can't get exactly what you want, let's iterate together. Let's look at it and see what we can build.
All right, where are we? Come right back here, because you're close.
Davidii again. I was just curious, something I'd found frustrating in the past about the old particle system is that we were forced to have the particles emit in a velocity that was on the local y-axis of the parented part. Will we be able to edit the direction of the particle by a vector or either local or global space?
Yes, you can. No, you can't. I'm getting a no. You can set the direction of the particle, the emission. So, I think it's in global space. Let's talk about that.
Sounds like we have another feature
That's a
request.
good
that we need
request.
to- Yes, cool, right here.
Okay, so I'm Volcano Inc. I have 2 questions, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first one is, if those particles, will we have an option to have them affected by the lighting conditions? So, for example, that they're not always as bright as they can possibly be, like if they're in a dark area, that they appear darker?
So that's something we've built in a prototype form,
Okay.
but it won't be part of this release.
Okay.
But
then,
it is coming.
Okay, and then as part of physics, will we, like at the moment, there's a height after which parts are just removed if they fall too far. Is there
Right.
going to be an option to disable that? Because if you're, for example, flying a spaceship and you run into that border, you're just going to get deleted right away, and there's no way to turn that off.
Right, that's a good question. So one solution is you build your place a little bit higher up in the air, like as the center. There always has to be some kind of border to your world, because at certain distances, numbers start to stop working in a good way. Like the floating point numbers just don't have enough precision. So you can always kind of center your world wherever you think the gameplay is going to happen. But at some extents, you can't control it. So if you're worried about the falling through the floor thing, you could move your place up a bit.
Well,
if that's not going to work, let's talk together offline and come find me, and we'll explain to me the problem, and maybe I'll understand it better.
Cool. Let me see the hands so I can sort of map my question route through the room. Okay, we're going to come right here to this guy who has not had a chance to ask a question yet, and then we will sort of move this way to maybe some other new folks before circling back to the frequent questioners.
All right. Hi, I'm Dark Gen X. First, I'll just give a shout out to people on Twitter because they're going completely insane over this. They're very hyped about this entire thing. My question is, so related to particles, is it possible for users to share these new particles that they've created? Because,
Absolutely. So you can put them inside a model, and then you can upload that model just like every other model. And we fully expect people to share them and show them off.
Hi, my name is Tech Team 911 again. I actually have two questions, if that's all right. One is related to particles, and one's related to the client. First of all, when it comes to particles, something that's been bugging some of us for a while now is the fact that when you have particles like the fire, the smoke, the force fields, etc., they don't accommodate the full size of a brick that you put them in. They're just the exact center on the X and Z, Y, etc. Would it be possible for us to have the ability to have particles spread out across the entire surface of a brick versus just the exact center of it?
Oh, I see. So you want to change the emission area.
Exactly. So it just spreads out against the entire thing.
Okay, that's a really good suggestion. Let's see if we can
my
get
second
that.
question, a very popular request, will we ever have the ability to whitelist instances from the server to a client with filtering enabled?
Okay. Yes, okay. Deep filtering enabled question. Can we whitelist things so that some can pass through? So our design when making filtering enabled was, can we make the system work really well in a generic way without having to create manual exception lists and things like that? What we'd love to do is see if we can solve your problem without having to go to the whitelist system. So what we wanted, the way we do this is we work together, and you explain the problem to us, and this goes for everyone here who has these kinds of issues and questions. You explain what you're trying to achieve, and we see if we can do that. We've iterated like that several times over the last year, where people say, hey, I've got this use case. It can't be solved with filtering enabled right now. How do I make that happen? And we change some things and configure some things. That's our first step, because we want to make it work for everyone out of the box. If we can't, that's when we go to the whitelist. So we haven't yet had a really definitive proof that we can't do it in general, with the general case. You bring it to us, let's talk about it offline, we go in a little more detail, and we'll see what we can work out together.
Sliding over here to a first-time questioner.
I'm Little Big TNT, and I was wondering if this is going to go through like the whole brick or just the surfaces.
Can you, if what's going to go through the brick, sorry?
Like the whole particle, is
The
it going to
particles?
cover the whole brick or just each surface?
In terms of where it starts from?
Yeah.
Or if it collides?
Like, you know how it currently is in just the center of the brick? Does this go on the surfaces?
Oh, so you want to make it come out of the whole surface instead of just the center?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the same question we had before. I'm glad that seems to be a really popular request. So let's take a look and see if we can add that for the future. Apparently, it's already done. So
that's how responsive we are to your requests here at Roblox. You asked for it twice, and it's done magically. We'll come right back here.
I just want to say something before I forget, before we get to the next question. For everyone out there who has a problem with Roblox, some kind of bug or weird situation, something like that, and we say, hey, make us a repro. For everyone who doesn't know what that means, it means we want to be shown a case of how that problem happens in the simplest way possible. So if you can make a sample place that has like one brick and a script that has 2 lines, or whatever the simplest possible case is, then it really helps us fix the problem. Sometimes people say, hey, I've got this place, it's 50,000 lines of code, 200,000 parts, you play it for 30 minutes and you see this weird thing. That becomes really hard for us to find the problem and fix it. So whenever we say make a repro, we're really asking, make that simple case, the simplest possible thing that shows us the problem.
So repro stands for reproduction, so we can easily reproduce the error and target the cause of it.
Yeah.
Cool, all right, right back.
Exploded one here again. When I was looking at your flamethrower example you had there, I noticed that the smoke particles actually went out of like the source and started floating upwards. Do you think you'll be able to make like curved paths for like actually be able to direct the particles to go in like a curved path, or like in a spiral, or like in certain directions?
Oh.
Because like I could just see
spiral.
like I could just see like you know you had those 2D maps where like you were like editing and
Yep.
this kind of thing. Do you think you'd actually be able to do that with like a certain path for the particles?
Ooh, in the 3D, a 3D spline path. That would be cool. We do have an acceleration, like a 3D acceleration thing, so you can kind of accelerate, but you want it to go around and around. I think that's a really good suggestion for the future. We'd have to think about a really cool user interface to make that accessible.
Does anyone want to ask a question who has not yet asked a question? Okay, right here, this guy in the back running around. Very cool. Big hand for Adam Miller while I'm trucking around the room. He's killing it. This is awesome stuff.
Hi, my name is, my username is Boats. I was wondering if we could ever have user-generated terrain. So if, for instance, we don't like the wood floor that we have in normal terrain, that a user could make a texture for it.
Right. So the question is, can users change the textures on terrain? So right now, we don't have the option of changing the textures in a full way, either on parts or in terrain. On parts, you can add decals, but you can't make a full texture with a shader and things like that. So this is a really interesting question, and I don't think we have the full answer for this yet. Our basic position is we want to make the defaults as awesome as possible and have more and more options. So you saw in our terrain we only had 8 or 9 different options. In the future we're going to have a lot more. And hopefully that palette is going to allow most people to capture the range of things they want to display and build. If it doesn't, I think this is an interesting thing where we need to work together with you to figure out like what your needs are in this case, what you want to build, and if there's no way to do it with what we have, how do we get to that point? So I think that's something we got to explore together through the future.
Hello, my name is Jonathan. My username is Maliwan. I realize that sometimes the chat disappears while you're in a game. Are you guys gonna fix that anytime soon?
Okay, good question. The question is, sometimes the chat disappears when you're in game. So let's talk for a little bit about in-game controls, because this is something that is a really active development area for us right now at Roblox, and we think is super exciting, and it kind of ties into an answer to this question. So right now, we're in the process of making whole new versions of all of our in-game controls. So the player lists, the chat, the backpack, all these kinds of alerts and notifications. And what we're trying to do is a few things. The first step is to make them all look good, because we want your games to look as good as possible. The second thing is we're moving to putting them in one area along the top of the screen called the top bar, which means it'll be a very simple model in terms of which area of the screen is Roblox controlled and which area is user developer controlled. So you can do more things about knowing where you can put stuff. The third thing I would say we're going to work on more, especially down the road, is improving things like the chat and the player list. And we've been collecting a lot of user developer feedback on this, and we want to get more from you guys, because right now you're kind of faced with this choice. Do I use the default Roblox one, or do I build my own? Because we basically give you the ability to build your own controls out of all this stuff. And if you use the default one, oh, it's nice, it works out of the box, but it doesn't have quite all the features you want. Like a really common one for chat is like have sort of different group chats. So if you're in a murder game, you don't want the people in the game to be able to talk to the people out of the game. You're like, oh, you can't do this with our own chat. You have to rebuild chat from scratch yourself. Well, that's a lot of work, and it's not maybe going to work quite right because we've put a lot of effort into this. So our big vision is taking these default control elements and making them totally extensible in all the ways that you guys want. And so what we're doing is collecting these lists of features and saying, how do we support this in a way that you can just say, I want to create like a restriction list for the chat, or I want to have a link in there, or I want to have private messaging, or I want to do this and that, I want to skin it. So all these kinds of things we're going to add. Now chat disappearing, this is one of the options we currently have where if nobody types in chat for a while, it kind of fades out and you don't see it. Now some games, they want it never to fade out. And some games, they want it to fade out quicker. We're going to give all these kinds of options to the developers because we want to make this stuff really extensible in a way that works for your games. All right, that was a long answer to a question, but I think it's a really important thing that we're working on, and we want to work together with you guys.
Hi, Davidii again. In relation to the new physics, and also I was inspired by the last couple of questions, will we be able to modify physics constants such as the acceleration or direction of gravity with a Lua API? That's the first question. And the second question is, will we be able to, at some point, create custom materials both in the sense of visual appearance and physics operation?
Okay, good question. So the question is asking, can a developer override certain physical things and material things? So the way we like to think about Roblox and building in Roblox is we want to start out with great defaults. We want to start out with a world that works together. So the materials work with the terrain, works with the physics, and the rendering, and everything just kind of works out of the box and interoperates and reacts in really great emergent ways. However, we know that games have certain requirements, and they need to control and limit certain things. So our vision is to allow developers on a case-by-case basis to say, well, I want just in this one area to override some of the behavior or some of the look. And so that's our long-term goal, is to give you that kind of control while making those great defaults that just work.
Great. Where's the next question? Where's the next question? Okay. Oh, this guy has not asked a question yet.
What's your username? Hi, my username is Sparker22, and I was wondering specifically on the case of CSG and mass. I've seen a few threads where people report when they're trying to get the mass of the CSG object, it's not actually the reported mass, such as if they try to make the object weightless by using a body force against it, using it mass actually won't have that effect because it seems to be inaccurate.
Okay, so the question is, sometimes making a CSG operation, the mass is not accurate. This is the perfect example of a case where we want a repro. We want that reproduction case, make the simplest possible CSG operation that can show this problem, and send it to us, and we will try and fix that.
For repros, would you also accept a video file, perhaps?
Sometimes videos are great for things that you need to sort of see what's happening. Like when Merely sent us the tool lag thing, that it's great to see the video. Oh, here's the problem. It's really obvious. So use your best judgment. What's the best way to communicate?
Hi, my name's nstrike159, and I was wondering if you could create screenshots via script.
Oh, okay. Question is, can we script a screenshot? Script a screenshot. So I think that's a really interesting case because you want to be careful not to have a game say, hey, I'm going to take 10,000 screenshots, and the user's like, wait, why is my desktop full? So we have to think about how does that get exposed to the user, the player, in a way where they still have some control, but it could be really interesting, right? Because the game could know there's going to be this really crucial moment where you're you're like just doing your victory thing and you want the screenshot at that second. And that would be the right moment. So maybe we need some kind of permission system. I think that's a really interesting idea. Thanks.
Who's next? Okay, we'll come here and then go back over there.
Unclear again. And so when I was doing the game creation contest back in, I think it was September, the theme was like horror or something like that. So that was one of the first times that I really played with dynamic lighting. And I'm a big builder. I was trying to build a realistic build with my friend, Diglet8, and we noticed, and a lot of other people have noticed, that dynamic lighting does leak through really thin sort of parts.
Yes.
Would that ever be fixed?
Okay. So question is, dynamic light does leak through thin things. Will that ever be fixed? So the way dynamic lighting works is it voxelizes the world. It breaks it into chunks. And those chunks are 4x4 studs right now. And we have a vision of going smaller. We would love to go to 2x2. Someday 1x1. And our challenge is, how do we make this fast? Because every time you go down one step, you're multiplying your memory and work by 8, right? Because we're in 3 dimensions. So it's a challenge of computation and processing. We totally have that vision for the future. For the time being, you're pretty much stuck with having to make slightly thicker things if you want to block the light.
Hello, it's the Maze Man. Shout out to my brother SimBuilder for this question. Will dynamic lighting ever have a higher amount of studs that you can see the dynamic lighting for? It's based off of the voxel system, so there's a max distance until the dynamic lighting disappears, and then so with a tall building, for example, it doesn't look very good when the lighting just stops in the middle of the building and you can't see the building all the way up to the top with dynamic lighting.
Right, great question. So the question is, will we ever be able to extend the range of dynamic lighting and make it go further into the distance? I'm going to give a very similar answer to the last question. This is another memory processing restriction. And I think we'd love to have dynamic lighting be infinite. Obviously, that's not quite possible, but at least make it bigger for sure. A lot of people run into this problem. So as we improve our code and make things a little more efficient, we can start to push these limits, and we would love to make it bigger.
Hi, I'm Gus Manek. A long time ago, Roblox implemented this feature. I think it was since the very beginning, where bricks have a certain tone applied to them, applied to their brick color. If you copy bricks in a line, you'll notice that each brick of the same color is actually slightly different.
Right, yes.
This seems to be done on purpose, and it looks great with maps like Crossroads, where you're intentionally trying to make each brick look different. But in some builds, like maybe cars or firearms or something that you want it to look flush, it's really frustrating. And I was wondering if there would ever be an ability for us to maybe choose whether or not we wanted that to change in tone between the bricks.
I think that's a really good suggestion. I haven't heard that before, so thanks. Let's get that. Let's discuss that.
Cool. Coming over here, we've got 2 questions, and then over to the guy in the plaid.
Hi, my name's Evan, and my username is eman12345667. I think I win most numbers. And my question it regards dynamic lighting. I was wondering if there will be a way in the future to add exclusions for certain parts for dynamic lighting. For instance, I want red bricks to have red global shadows, and I want green bricks to have green global shadows. Currently, the only way to do that is globally. But if I wanted certain models or parts or subsets of different things to have different shades of lighting or different shades of shadows, I can only do that globally. Will there be a way to do that like per brick in the future?
Okay, good. So the question is, can we set individual shades for bricks in the future for dynamic lighting? Can we apply it locally instead of globally? I think that's a really good suggestion. I will talk it over with my rendering team and see what kind of solution we could possibly come up with.
Hi, my username is Rukiryo, and I was wondering if we could render separate cameras to use as textures in game, such as mini-maps or 3D shops, etc.
We have mini map. You can do mini maps. Can you explain?
Like if you have
some?
a separate camera that can
Yeah.
render the 3D scene and use it like a texture ID.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the question is, can we render the world in multiple ways and then sort of process it in different ways?
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting idea. We'll have to think about that. That might be quite challenging in terms of performance and other things, but we can have that on our list of potentially awesome future stuff.
First time question over here.
Hi, I'm Nex, and my question is basically about skyboxes, and they're pretty much limited right now. I was wondering if you guys ever plan to kind of improve on that, add more features to it, like layers or being able to rotate certain images on the skyboxes and stuff like that.
Okay, good question. So the question is, skyboxes, they're kind of lame right now. Can they ever be better? The answer is absolutely yes. So we actually spent some time building some prototypes of this. I don't even want to really show it or talk about it too much because it's still very early. But skyboxes, they take up quite a bit of your screen, and right now they are incredibly limited. And we always want to push the envelope in terms of our rendering and our look. And right now it's one of these items that's becoming more and more important to get high attention. So we have this ultimate vision of kind of like what I was talking about before with having great out-of-the-box stuff. We want to be able to have really cool skies that are dynamic with sun and weather and clouds and wind and all this stuff be totally dynamic and really emergent. And so right now we're in a very exploratory phase where we're trying to think how can we make this a really good-looking, easy-to-ship thing for developers, and then also to have that kind of developer control over making really cool stuff, more than just a bunch of decals. So absolutely, yes, we will do that.
We have time for 2 more questions. This is going to be the first one, and then we'll try and grab a second one, and then it's going to be lunchtime.
Hey, I'm Exeter Cameron, and you said that we would have more customizable chat options, but you didn't really mention bubble chat. So say you're in a role-playing game in a sci-fi area, and there's just this weird white blob above your head. Would it be possible to add, I guess, different versions of it? Like if you're a robot, it would look kind of staticky, or if you're a colonist, it would be kind of gritty, or even a medieval setting. It'd be pretty interesting to see.
So the question is, can we do customized versions of bubble chat? And the answer is absolutely yes. We would love to build that into our vision. So right now you could code that yourself, right, if you wanted to. But I think fitting into our model of giving you great stuff that works out the box that can be customized without having to recreate it, absolutely we'd like to be able to say, yeah, here's a little robot-themed bubble chat. All you have to do is tweak this little thing. Absolutely yes.
All right, hands up for the last question. You have not asked a question yet, so we're going to go for you. If you have more questions for Adam, he will be around during lunch. He'll be around through the rest of the conference. Please come up to him individually or other folks. Maybe if you're also on the client or physics team, maybe raise your hand for other folks. That's Arseny over here. So there are more folks you can talk to in the back there. Hands up. Cool, great. All right, last question.
Hi, my Roblox username is Imaginarum, and I was wondering if we can expect any joint improvements with the new physics engine.
Okay, the question, I'm going to get to the question in a second, but before I do, because it sounds very final, I want to say a couple quick things. So, I love questions. So just keep hammering me all day. Like Rick said, just come up to me, pepper me, give me the questions that are too tough to ask on Twitch. Like just lay it in, all right? Another thing I want to say is a lot of that cool tech that we demoed today, the smooth terrain, the particles, it's going to be available in the, I think it's called the Alpha Lab, for you guys to play with. So you guys will be able to check that out. We would actually love to get everyone here's feedback on this stuff because this is how we know what to build. It's from getting your feedback. So please check it out. Okay, The question was, will the new physics work with joints? Did I remember that correctly? Joint improvements. So the answer is absolutely yes. That's in fact the number one reason we started building this. Because right now collisions basically work, like parts knocking into each other. That stuff works pretty okay. It's the joints that are the real problems. Joints are the things that build vehicles, contraptions, mechs that walk, cool ratchet systems. So actually those videos that I showed with the physics, those are all based on joints. So that is Roblox joints, as they are currently made in Roblox, working with the new physics, and that's the level of stability and improvement that you're going to expect to see. So yes, we're going to be able to build amazing things together.
Very cool. Big hand for Adam Miller. Have you guys had an awesome morning? Come on. Have you guys had an awesome morning? Fantastic. Are you guys ready for an awesome lunch? Cool. We are going to get you out in just a second. One of the things I wanted to talk about was the beta list. That we have to get on the beta list for features. The sign-up sheet is over on the table in
What's up? All right.
Oh man,
That was cool.
there's been a lot of stuff today, like more than I can even kind of like spit back out. But physics, particles, studio dragger, CSG, solid modeling. I don't know, all kinds of
That's
stuff.
crazy. Yeah, that terrain thing blew me away.
Terrain?
Yeah.
Man.
Super good. We hope you really enjoyed the RDC live stream. Everyone is breaking for lunch. As you can see, they're all milling about. There's all the
Nobody cares
Roblox
about the stream anymore
dev
because
streams,
there's food.
Food's there, code's done. Everyone's like, peace out. We hope you have an awesome day. We're still here for RDC. We'll be back. Yeah. You want to jump on real quick? Run it up. So, hey.
Hi, I'm Little Big TNT.
Great.
And,
What do you make on
I've heard your name.
Roblox, Little Big TNT?
I make like infinite arcade games or, like stuff like that.
Very cool.
Like Pac-Man,
Very cool.
fast-paced mini games. All right.
But I'm working on Crossy Roads.
Oh yeah.
Oh right.
Awesome.
Okay.
That'd
We were talking about that yesterday or
I
so
really
the other
want some
day.
Crossy Road on Roblox.
So you guys can check that out soon.
Yeah.
We might have to.
There you
Thanks for
go.
stopping by.
No problem.
Cool. He's out. All right, Noble Dragon, you want to say bye,
You bet.
everybody, as we wrap up? Yeah,
we're wrapping
we're
this
ending
thing
that
up.
stream.
You want to say
got that?
bye to the
Yeah. We got
internet?
this giant Robloxian over here. Yeah.
Goodbye, Internet.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.
This is Davidii.
Davidii.
You may know him from
League
Guest
of
Defense
Roblox.
and no, sorry, Dang.
League of
Woo!
Roblox Engineers.
Just
Survival
gonna
303.
walk out. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Guest defense guy is
He's like way tinier.
I have yet to meet him.
But yeah.
So we're gonna go eat now. We'll be back later.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Go eat.
Peace out. Have fun, guys. We're going to kick it over to Inception time.
Yes.
So stick around right here, and you can watch some Roblox games. He's going to stream until it's his bedtime. It's Europe, so that might be soon. But, yeah, have a great Saturday, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you all so much. Peace out.
Peace.